All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sonke Podcast, a podcast where we document the journeys of professionals so that we can help anyone who wants to join the same careers and grow and learn from them. And first of all, I just want to say thank you so much to Studio17 for this collaboration where we can use their studios. And if you want to make your podcast come to life, reach out to them, and we're going to leave all the information in the description below. And with that said, I am joined by an amazing guest, Mr. Sonke. How are you, sir?
I'm good on yourself, sir.
I'm well.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourself and what you do.
My name is Sonke, qualified chartered accountant from Durban, KZN. I'm based in Cape Town for now. I work as a financial manager from one of the pharmaceuticals company in one of the biggest in the Western Cape. That's basically me. So on the side, I do businesses and I teach people about finances, financial literacy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, what made you choose accounting?
So accounting wasn't really my first choice of career, but then I think back in high school there was this teacher, Mrs. Lekuleli, who believed that I can be good when it comes to accounting. So I think when I was doing matric, she selected me to go to this SICA camp where they taught me about chartered accounting, how it's in demand, especially there's not a lot of black chartered accountants. So I said, okay, I fell in love with it, and then I said, no, why not? Let me pursue it, and then the rest is history.
In your own words, what do you think she saw in you that made her think that you would be great to be a chartered accountant?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
tricky.
know. But I think at that time, she saw the determination from me, how I was back then. I was that kid that was like focused. Yes, I could play, I could do other things, but when I keep the main things at the time. So I think that's what she saw in me, and then she said, okay, I want you to build this.
100%. So you get to study accounting, and you've graduated. Can you please share some wisdom with a graduate or a student at the moment who wants to make it on the other end to become a graduate in accounting?
Yeah.
What are the things that you were doing to make sure you actually finish your studies?
I want to say I know it's hard, and as we record this, I know exams are approaching.
Yeah, sure.
I know it's hard. I know what you're feeling. Maybe your test one didn't go very well, and my first first test at varsity was like 37%. I did very bad. So I know what it's like. It's difficult, it's hard, but hang in there, reflect, understand what went wrong. Always have this mentality to say, if I didn't do well in that test, maybe I wasn't ready, I wasn't at the standard the test wanted. So let me go back, reflect, what went wrong. Maybe most of the time you have the information, you know that IFRS, you know that tech standard, you know what is required. But sometimes you have to develop that exam technique to say, okay, if I'm in the exam room, this is how I must think. And you develop that by practicing. When you practice questions, you must do that under exam conditions, so that even if you go to P, because when you are doing a TAT in your race, you go to the bathroom, you're thinking about the TAT that you're busy with. You have a lot of the time. Sometimes you meet a friend around the hallway, you discuss something, and then you continue with the TAT. But when you're in an exam, you don't have all that. There's time pressure, there's everything. So reflect whenever you attempt the TATs, do them on exam conditions. And then when you mark yourself, don't be lenient, be strict towards yourself, because the person who marks your script doesn't know you, right? So make sure. But I know it's hard, but hang in there, it's doable. If I'm here, you can do it as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. When it comes to that, I know you mentioned that you were also a mentor. Can you please go through what you guys did as a mentorship organization, and just to inspire someone that they can learn from you, that you can actually work and become a mentor? Can you please just share that journey with us?
Okay, so it all started back in high school. There was this group of people, a group of my friends. We called ourselves World War III.
Okay.
I know it sounds bad,
Yeah.
but our thing was like we were fighting for education, right? We would study together after school, cross night, do all those things, right? And then most of us, because grades went to different varsities, in fact, all of us. And then a lot of the people got bursaries and whatnot. And then we decided that, okay, we should continue this thing. Let's make sure that we go back to high school where we come from and teach other kids. So those that were studying around Durban, UKZN, DUT, would come back on weekends to come and teach the grade 10s and 11s, right? So for those that were studying far, we're providing mentorship, right? Even those ones who are studying nearby, they did provide mentorship, all of us, right? So we would assist our matriculants how to choose a career path, help them understand a lot of things, how do you apply, help them apply for varsity, help them, sometimes for those that are not far, they would take that kid to a varsity to see how the varsity life looks like, take them to a lecture, right?
Okay, sure.
And then, by the time the year ends, they have applied, most of them will be accepted because we do help them. Like, we never got anything less than a bachelor on the people that we used to teach, right? So the people passed, and then so that was the starting of the mentorship thing. And also when I went to varsity, I was under Tutuga, right? Tutuga funded me. There was also mentorship. So second years, as of my first year, they were mentoring us, right? And then third years were mentoring the second years. So I get to learn how to do these things. Also when I was a second year, I was mentoring the first year. So that's how it used to work.
Sort of adds to that,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so,
amazing.
So I think my last mentee graduated in 2024. There was a voice note that I was sent by his mother. And by the way, I've never met his mother during this whole process of mentorship. So from matric up until he graduated, I never met his parents. I only met him. So they invited me to his graduation. I'm like, no, I'm in Cape Town. I can't go there. And then I think at the time, there were other things that prevented me from going there. But they were so happy. They wanted me to see the contribution that I've made. Yeah.
Okay, and then how does that feel, to that full cycle of mentoring a student from first year to seeing them actually graduate?
It's fulfilling. I think to see the transition, or to see another person coming from a disadvantaged background doing it and making it in life, and you are part of that process. I think it's fulfilling, man. There's no money that I think you can buy that feeling. You can.
Oh, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you and your team that inspiring young kids and mentoring them. It's very much similar to what we're doing here, to try to speak to professionals, to mentor someone from a distance using audio or video, and they can learn something from your story. And I just want to say, you guys must keep on pushing and making it happen, and making the parents happy, and win the war.
But the name eventually changed to Suguma Academy. You can search it there. So because it came, so the organization grew, so it came to a point whereby we need to register this thing, and we can't use World War. We had to come up with a name. So it's called the Suguma Academy. That's how it got registered, because we needed some funding as well.
100%. And I'm happy for you guys, and I'm sure you can just share your details, and then we can add it to the description below. And whoever's going to listen to this can just go to Suguma Academy. I'm sure they can find mentors that can help them actually go through the process of actually graduating and starting with work as well. So you graduate and you start your first job. Where was that, and what was your role in that company?
Okay, so that was after honors, because you need to do honors, right?
Okay.
Not after the first degree.
All
so
right.
you need to do what they call CTA or PGDA.
Okay.
So yeah, after that I joined a firm called Mazars in Cape Town. That's where now I started or was involved in audit. So it's an auditing firm. I was involved in a lot of different clients, different industries, from construction, financial services, crypto, manufacturing, you name it. So I wanted exposure, man. Some people, especially in firms, like they just do like 2 industries. Like they do financial services mostly now, and then maybe one extra, maybe commercial or whatever. So I was like, I want exposure so that I can make a decision as to which industry I want to go to as soon as I qualify. So yeah, so I did all of that, and then it came in handy because when someone look me up on LinkedIn, they see that I have crypto experience. They just DM me on LinkedIn saying, okay, I have a role for you, or would you be interested in this? So I've been called by people just because I have construction, I have manufacturing, I have financial services, who would come and say, but Sonke, would you be interested in such a role? I see that you've done this and this during your articles. And I'll say no or yes, depending on the my position at the time.
Okay. If you were to explain, you said it was auditing. What does that auditing look like on a day-to-day?
Okay, so remember you are doing your training, so psych training for 3 years, right, with this company, right? Some people do it outside of practice, so outside of audit. Some you can go to an MTN, you can go to a Sanlam, depending on the industry. But I did in audit, right? So a typical day looks like for a first year.
So I just want to understand something here. So you're saying that when you're doing your honors, you worked for this company. I think you said Zaza.
No, so you do honors first, and then you start articles.
And you start with the articles.
Yes. So for you to qualify as a chartered accountant, you need to do 3 years of your degree. 1 year honors. Okay, some degrees are 4 years, depending on which varsity you go to. And then you do your final year. Your honors or postgraduate diploma in accounting. In the previous days, old days, they called it the CTA. Right. So after these 4 years, that's when now you go and start and do your articles. Right. And during those 3 years of articles, you write 2 board exams. Right. So the one at the time, my time was ITC, Initial Test of Competence, but now it's IAC. Right. And then there's the second one, which is called APC, Assessment of Professional Competence. Now they evaluate and see if you are professionally competent now to go to the field, right? Yes. So yeah, that's how it goes. So I'm sure you answered.
So now I understand now. So you're saying that it's 4 years, and depending on which varsity you go to, and you go up until honors level.
Yes.
When you go to honors level, then you go through the process of your articles.
After
your honors.
Yes.
And then from those articles, please explain that period for us. Then we can go into the board exams. I think that's the progression, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get into the articles. What does that look like? What were your fields of auditing on that? Then we can move on towards your board exams. Like you said, I think you said ITC, something like that. Then explain that. And once we're done with that, we can continue from there.
Okay. All right. So the articles are 3 years, right? And then while doing articles, you write these board exams. So the first board exam is just psych testing your technical knowledge, right? It's everything that they test you. That's why it's ITC, Assessment of Technical Competence. So they test you whatever that you've done for the past 4 years or 5 years, depending on which degree, but you get tested on that. Your tax, your accounting, financial management, finance, everything, audit as well. They test that at the beginning of articles, right? And then now you start as a first year, right? So remember, you are new, you're just fresh from varsity, you don't know a lot of things, and knowing something in theory and then knowing it practically are 2 different things. So you are given less risky sections, like your banks. You just check the client that okay, the client said they have 10,000 in the bank, and then you agree that to the bank statement. Okay, it agrees.
Okay.
Therefore, yeah, that is less risky.
Okay.
And then you progress as you go second year, do some more risky stuff now, up until you become a third year.
So what would that look like? The second part, the risky side. What would the example look like?
So remember, I'm not sure. Have you seen financial statements? You depending also on the type of business you're doing.
Okay.
And then so now you start doing some more riskier stuff, or you start doing even more work. You can spend, like, even now that you're a second year, first years can come to you for help, right? So you're starting to be this person now who's looking over the first years. Yeah, so your scope of work now broadens, because now the same as going to third year, right? So you're doing more, right? You're more testing. Now you realize with the client, you can speak directly to them, sometimes to the manager or the partner.
Okay.
Yeah, so now there's more communication, there's more scope of work. Now there's people that at any given point when they need help, you must be there to help them, right? Yeah, same as third year, you grow. Now you start, most of the time when you're third year, you start the audit up until it finishes. Make sure that it's signed, everything is done, everyone has done their job. You're involved also in the execution, you're involved, yeah, in a lot. The things I'm trying to summarize it, because I don't want to use the audit lingo or the section that you do most of the time, but yeah.
Yeah, I think feel free to go deep. The idea is to try to not only level up the graduates and those who are starting with the work, but also for people who are in your peers as accountants who are listening to this, like, yeah, he was right, I like that. And I mean, obviously we're going to be sharing this on social media. They will be adding stuff that you probably are sharing. So feel free to go as detailed as possible. And as much as it will be lingo for me that I will understand as an engineer, but I think for someone who is interested in what you're doing, it would be very valuable for them.
Yeah.
So the 3 years, third year, do you only start writing the board exam on the third year?
No. So SAICA wants you to have 20 months of professional experience for you to write APC.
I see.
So a lot of people write it because it's written in December. So they write it December the second year, because it's after the 20 months, right? And then, but you need to qualify for it. There is a board course that you need to do for that entire second year. Right? So there are schools that are providing this board course that you need to pay. Okay, most likely your firm will pay for it, will cover the cost. But that, if you don't pass that, you can't write. You need to redo it. Okay. So
and then that forms part of the ITC, the technical part.
So remember the technical part is long done, right?
So the process of the 3 years, right?
Yes. Okay. Let me start from the first year, right? Okay. So I'm fresh from university. I'm starting first year, right, of articles. Okay. And then in January, I think it's written around January 25th. Okay. I'm writing this ITC, right? I think now it's written over 3 days, right? I write it, right? Then if I pass, that's good, I passed. But then if I don't, in June, there's gonna be another attempt. Okay. Right? If the 3 years ends without me passing it, I have to redo my honors.
I see.
You get what I mean?
Interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, but fortunately, a lot of people and you guys will pass before the 6 attempts or the 3 years end. Yeah, and then after that, you start your articles, right? Let's say you passed it on your first attempt. Sure. You passed it, you continue with your articles. Okay. So what SAICA does, there is what's the word? So, but there are competencies that you get for doing the work, right? So as a first year, there's certain hours you're required to work, competencies that you are supposed to get. You need to know certain things, and then if your managers are happy with you doing that, or are happy at the expected level, they'll give you that rating, right? So back in my time, there were, I can't remember, but there were a lot of rating you needed to get in the 3 years to convince SAICA to say, okay, this person is competent, right? So yeah, that's what happens. And the hours as well. There's like a minimum hours you need to work within the 3 years, right? Okay. Then now it's the end of your second. Okay, you now become a second year. Now you're not only doing your compliance, because on your first day you do your compliance, your checks, whatever, but it's nothing riskier or something that is complex, right? And then second year you start to do complex stuff. You start to making sure that the first years are good. Okay, you making sure that the audit is running smoothly as well, especially over your sections, because you're given your sections to do. So you can do your payables, creditors, your whatever, depending on the nature of the company. If it's a manufacturing company, you do your inventory from raw materials, work in process, finished goods. That can be complex. Also, depending on the company, if you're doing a financial service company, you deal with maybe that deals with funds. If you deal with an asset management company, so depending on what company you're dealing with, so there's certain work that you need to do as a second year, right? And then, as you're doing this, remember you're doing this board course now, in preparation for the APC exam in December of the second year, right? Now, if you don't pass this board course, you don't get to write the APC, right? If you pass this board course, you fail the APC, you can still write the following year. But I think you have up until like 3 attempts with this certificate, because once you pass this board course, it's a certificate that is available for a certain duration. But if you don't pass APC for like 3 attempts, therefore you repeat the board course again. You see, same. It's almost similar thing with the ITC thing. You repeat. It's just that with ITC you repeat honors, but with APC you repeat the board course. Yeah, and then let's say like you guys are gonna be successful on your first attempts. You're gonna then pass your APC. Then now what's left is for you to finish your article, get all your competencies, and then you're good. You are ready to qualify to register as a CA. So your firm needs to sign you off. We call it a sign off when they say, okay, now you're ready. You've got all your competencies. You can do this. You're happy. You can do this and that and that and that. Therefore, you're ready. And then you register with SAICA, and then they pay your fees. I think now it's like 15 or 16,000 to register with SAICA as a first-time person.
Amazing. Thank you so much for going into that detail. I think most people want to be chartered accountants, and we are also advising people to become chartered accountants, but not understanding the process can be a challenge. People should get into it, understanding that if you don't go do well in your ITC, you repeat your honors. If you don't know that, you need to be technically adverse in starting it and going into your board exams as well. You need to pass that in order to start with your APC. And if you fail 3 times, then you have to redo it again. I think that information is very much valuable for someone who wants to become a chartered accountant. I can imagine someone who is in grade 9 who wants to choose between sciences or business or accounting. They have that idea of what it looks like. So I know you might have touched a bit on it when you're talking about the articles. So let's talk about your career projection. Where did you start working? Where did you start working? What were you doing there? And if you moved into different industry, how does that look like in different industries? If you're doing articles, or what were you doing as an accountant?
Okay, so after that articles I was explaining to you, that's where I was involved in a lot of different industries, different sectors, different whatever. So I was like, okay, still after all doing this, I'm still not quite sure as to what I want or where, but financial services I think was my first preference at the time, right? And then I went to an interview in a financial service company, and then that's so when I finished my articles, I hadn't passed my second board exam, right? But I finished articles, so that was the thing. So most companies wanted a qualified chartered accountant at that time. So I was like, okay, my choices are limited now. By God's grace, I got a few interviews, and then 2 of the companies came with positive feedback, and then I took one IT company. It's based in Cape Town. So in that company, I was basically in charge of 3 entities. So it's a UK company, but operating in like 26, 27 countries, and I think it's even more now. Right. So I was in charge of South Africa, US, and then Netherlands. So I needed to make sure that whatever going on in that company, I know it. It's like my own personal thing. I'm in charge of, like, I own it, right? If the CFO comes and says, "Sonke, what's going on in the US?" right? I need to be in a position to talk to them, right? So sometimes there's the timing difference when I'm speaking to that people. Sometimes I need to stay up late to have a call with them. So I needed to know the accounting, the tax. Remember, in the US they don't use IFRS.
They don't use what?
IFRS, the international reporting standards that we use.
Oh, it's IFRS, okay.
Yeah, they don't use that. So I needed to understand the US GAAP. They call it the US GAAP. I needed to read from scratch and understand that. And in South Africa, you have VAT, like your value added tax. In America, they have sales tax. And each state has its own sales tax, or it has its own like regulations. So a sales tax in Nevada is different to Montana, is different to Delaware. Those are the states in the US. So I needed to understand that, to say, okay, when we sell to this particular state, the tax implications are this and that and that. You get my point? Because you find that Ohio, now I even know them because I used to deal with them. you see, Ohio, maybe it's better. Yeah, but also there are systems in place to help you. There are systems also to tell you if maybe the new governor has changed it, because in America things change a lot. If maybe the taxes have changed and whatnot, so that helps you there and there. But it was a lot for me at the time. Yes, audit was hard and like you had to work extra hours, but I think it was a lot because of the things that I'm telling you about. America is like 50 countries in one. You see, and then I spent 2 years with that company. It's an IT company, global IT company. And then I went now to my current company. It's a pharmaceuticals company.
So I think before we get to that, it almost feels like you moved from growing in your previous company into almost a management position in this IT company.
No,
right?
No. So that's one of the things that made me want to move. Right? So I was with the company for 2 years, but then you see, in audit you can be promoted without any problems. But in operational companies, it's hard for you to get promoted. You know why? Because there's limited positions that are available. So if you feel like you've done the work above the expected level, if you want growth, it's either the person who's occupying that role needs to leave or needs to die for you to, you see. So now, in operational companies or in business, it's harder to grow, right? Unless you move from company to another company. And that is the advice I want to give to the people, that every 2 to 3 years, change companies. You will see even with the salary you're going to get paid. Are still getting paid more than people I started working with in certain companies, right? But so changing companies, not job hopping every 3 months you leave, no, not that thing. But after 3 years, take it 3 years and then move. That's good, that's healthy. One of the things, it's just advice that I have for people, especially during their 3rd years of articles or 2nd years. Don't stay in articles or don't stay in audit after you finish your articles, especially if you want, or if you're unsure that you don't want to become a partner one day. If you want to become a partner, stay in audit, you'll be a partner one day, but leave as soon as you finish your articles, because in business it's a new different level or different way of doing things. You can be a manager in audit, but you cannot be a manager in business. Like, it's 2 different things that people do. So if you come from audit as a manager, you can't be a manager here. You need to come start again as a financial accountant. So if you stay in audit for 2 years or more, by the time you want to leave, it's going to be difficult for you to match the salary you were getting. in audit, unless in special cases maybe you join your client, a company that you've been auditing now, that you're proposing.
You as well.
Yeah. So, but then if that's not the case, then please leave, because by the time even the people who left straight after articles, they will be far ahead of you, right? They'll be in certain positions that cannot be offered to you because you are new. Even with the ERP systems that companies use, like big companies now use SAP, right? You're not familiar with SAP. You only know Caseway or any of the system that your firm uses. So on the operational side, you don't know anything. There's no so much value that you can bring. So you're not so different from a newly qualified CA, right? So I always say that people must leave immediately, right? Okay. Yes, sir.
Awesome. And I actually like that a lot. So we were just asking about I'm losing my train of thought now. Can you please remind me where we were?
I also lost it.
Okay, that's fine. So I think I was just asking about you. So you were just explaining how. Oh my God, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I remember. Okay. So the management role,
yes,
right? So in me moving, so that's why I left now the IT company. I was like, okay, there is not so much growth. But also at the time, because that happened last year, to be exact. So last year I lost 2 of my siblings, right? Okay, so I think one of the decisions to leave wasn't because of the work or anyone. I think I needed some time alone because I lost 2 siblings in a short period of time. I was like, okay, let me go home for a second. Because, okay, I don't have any thing that holds me back to be here in Cape Town or to work because I need to pay this. Okay, I can pay for any other things, maybe your rent or whatever, but let me go home. So I think for 2 months, no, 1 month and a few days, I was at home in KZN, just sitting there with my parents, and then reconnect with them because I left home when I was doing my check, and that was years ago. So now just to spend more than a month, I've never spent more than a week with them, unless maybe it's December I came. But then, so I was like, okay, let me go sit with them, know what's happening in the hood, things like that. And then I started applying. I think a month later I started applying, and then I got so many interviews. I think in 1 month I was like 30 interviews or something. Wow, some companies even flew me from Durban to Cape Town to attend some of the interviews. You see. So then my current company now, we did the interview, did all the assessments, blah blah blah. I came in tops. So during my 3 month of probation, because I was supposed to be a financial accounting lead, they promoted me to manager. So they said, okay, we've been needing someone with your caliber, with your experience. Also having these mentorships and having dealt with people, grooming people, they made me in charge of the graduates, in charge of certain things. So it's been going well ever since. I enjoy it there. Also being like to manage people. I've been there before, like say an audit senior, I manage people, but now when you are in a company, it's a different ball game. Now you're in charge of the company's finances. You see, you do this, you need to make sure that you prepare your cash flow, and then you budget for the year, the projects the company wants to undertake. We're talking billions here, not just the hundreds of millions. So that's where you see, and from a boy who grew up in Hammersdale, I'm like, yo, how did I reach this point? I never thought I would live such a life, sitting in a room full of big people, your CFOs, people coming from abroad. I'm like, God can take someone out of nowhere to be somewhere, to be someone.
I want us to just jump into management. That transition from you, like you said, you meant to be a lead, but you moved on to being a manager. How did you adjust in that role? How do you deal with working with different characters, so that you can help someone who wants to get into, follow your career path trajectory, so that when they become manager, they know these are the do's and don'ts that you need to look at to handle yourself well in that position?
I think initially it was quite a difficult thing because people are people, right? But then I think also there was a course they took me to, which helped me understand this is how you go about. But also, I think prior to that, having worked in audit, having worked with a lot of different people, different trainees from different backgrounds, you somehow need to understand that, okay, people are unique. Some may come with maybe a special need. Some is because they grew up in a certain way. You see, even like myself, I was like that. So people here, some are Muslims, some are this, some are that, some are that. So some are Christians. So now, when these people are together, you must find a way in which they can all work with each other, right? So I think being in audit as well prepared me for such, because.
And then how did it do that?
Because remember, as you're a second year, the first years we are somehow in charge of.
100%.
But when I became an audit senior, so I forgot to mention that after even articles, I stayed on in audit for 6 months as an audit senior, right? So therefore, I was in charge of audits. So we have 4 audits running at a time for different clients. Each audit has its own like group of people, like a team that you work with. So all these people, they report to you, and then you report to the partner or whoever was your senior, right? So making sure that, okay, these people, you manage them effectively, you must understand, right? Some of the people, you have to sit down with them to explain what is it that you expect, or what is it that they must do, what is it that you expect, how long, right? Some people are just quick, you don't have to explain anything, right? So, but then it's something that you develop now to say, okay, this is how I treat people. Also, like, I can sit, you see, in my team, when I saw them the first time, I could tell that, okay, this one is like this, or more likely this character, or has this character, things like that. And then as you spend time with them, or you see and understand, okay, if I need something, I need to speak to this guy this way, this is how I address him. And then you find another one to say, oh, this one understands, right? Easily, you just need, I need this and that, and then it's done. You get my point. So I think it's understanding people's personalities, how they understand things, because we understand differently, right? So you learn that as you go along. Yeah. And then God gave me something where you can just read the room. You can see, oh, this is the type of people, blah blah blah, things like that. Yes.
100%. I like how you involve God in your journey. How does that merge in you managing people?
Okay, let me start back.
Okay.
I think it's been God along the way. There's nothing I've accomplished without God, right? But this CA journey was so hard for me to be here sitting with you discussing the journey.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for God, like, I don't think I would have had the energy, the resilience that I had, right?
Yeah.
So now coming back here, also, I think having God, right? Remember, everywhere I go, I tell people, yeah, I'm Sonke, a born again Christian, like you saw in my bio. So now they perceive me a certain way. So now everything I do or say must represent God, right? It's Zulu. The thing is that I like the Zulu Bible because I grew up reading it. So now it says, okay. You see? So now I don't want to be known for any other things besides God.
Okay.
You with me? So I think, yeah, that helps a lot. And there's now a certain expectation that I must live up to because I've just said these words. You get what I mean? So yeah, that's how it happens. But I think, yeah, you need God in order for you to manage people. People are, you see, in stressful situations, like let's say there's audits, this was not. Sometimes as a person, if you tell people, give them instruction and then they don't do it, or now you're late. Remember, I have my superiors as well. If I tell them that we're going to be done by this day and then we're not done because people didn't follow instruction, sometimes that is something hard to comprehend as a person, right? Sometimes people lose it, but yeah, that's how things happen. So I think God has helped me not to lose it because, hey,
It can be difficult.
people,
Yeah.
hey, Baba, being in charge of people. And I realized that a lot of people are good, are kind-hearted, right? And with that being said, I remember even in audit, I had a manager. That manager people used to hate, right? Because they felt like that the manager was a bad person or likes to shout and whatnot. But when I got to interact with that person, I found that okay, this person is kind-hearted. It's just that she worked with a lot of trainees who took advantage of her kindness. Now she's this person, right? So I think working with people changes you, but you must not allow it to change you, right? Yeah. Because hey, people okay, depending on how many are there in the team. I think the smaller the team, the better. But now if you manage like 15 people,
I actually like your journey and your growth in from listening from your storyline. And I just want to encourage you to say keep on pushing. We're just having some small technical here.
Yeah.
However, I just want us to stop here, but I feel like our conversation is not finished. We will probably have to set up another conversation again. And,
especially about finances. I think I'm passionate about that because people are making a lot of, I don't want to say mistakes because it's ignorance, man. Like I think if we can learn about money, how money works and things like that, I think we don't have to be millionaires and billionaires, but we must be in a position whereby we can do the main things that we need to do, right? So I think from managing your salary, it can't be that you're getting paid this amount and then 5 days after payday you are now broke. There's something wrong there. So but let's meet again and discuss that part.
No, I'm so happy for you, man, and the things that you're doing in your personal career, and we're wishing you the best and continue shining, be in those spaces and grow in them, and God give you more wisdom to manage people, and also grow in that. We want to hear that you're a CFO somewhere.
It's coming.
It's coming, of course. And I mean, we are going to have that kind of a podcast where we speak to people who are in the C-suite level, so they can share their journey. And this would be some sort of us documenting your story and say, we know this guy, this is where he's coming from. Him being a CEO, we know his attitude and how he managed and grew in his career. Wishing you all the best. And is there anything that you want to share with people before we close?
Trust in God, love God, accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and never look back. You'll never. I think that what worked and that what still works for me. So that's all I can say.
Awesome. With that said, thank you so much, everyone who's listening to the podcast. Like I said, the Snake Podcast is a podcast where we sit down with professionals, we document their journey to try to inspire someone who wants to be in the same field so that they can grow and learn and thrive. And additionally, we want to say thank you so much to Workshop 17 for giving us this opportunity to collaborate together with them and grow in educating students and also people who are graduates or workers in the same in their professionals. So with that said, thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming through, sir.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Okay. Bye.